eating certain types of fatty fish, you may want to avoid things like jack mackerel, skipjack, swordfish, and you can eat things like salmon, catfish, and also any kind of crustaceans like prawns and shrimps, and therefore you have a nice variety that you can choose from.
If there's mercury in our seafood, can you imagine what else lurks in fish? Are they pumped full of antibiotics? How can these antibiotics affect you?
Okay, that's it. I am tired of being fed this nonsense. Fish should be safe to eat, right? I want to get to the bottom of this. It's time to hear from the experts. I do know that there are two ways to fight off animal diseases: antibiotics and vaccines.
The difference between vaccines and antibiotics is mainly that if there is a disease, you use an antibiotic to treat it, or you use a vaccine to prevent the disease to come in the first place. We do the same with the fish or any other animal which we eat. In the case of fish, we can't really cure them anymore. There are thousands of them in the farm. So the vaccine is the smarter idea compared to antibiotics.
Now that we've cleared that up, should we be concerned about eating vaccinated fish?
Consumers should not be afraid of eating vaccinated fish. Vaccinated fish has been ongoing since 1988, and so far there's no adverse effect.
Basically, the vaccine is disappeared by the time we eat it. It gets injected when the fish is very, very small, and the fish gets harvested when they're quite big. There is no vaccine left. It can't change the taste.
You know, scanning through the headlines is making me think that there could be many more things in your food than you might believe. Do you like chicken? Well, let me tell you something. There might be beef in your chicken.
You could have some beef products in chicken in the form of gelatin. Gelatin is actually found by breaking down proteins, and we use gelatin to bind the chicken nugget, because chicken nuggets are actually quite robust, and that integrity comes by adding some gelatin.
Online headlines are no different. You'll find the same scary food tales on a number of websites. Check this one out. Fast food lovers, beware. This alarmist headline says there's sugar in your french fries. Well, the short answer is yes. Potatoes naturally contain small amounts of sugar, and this is what gives your french fries that nice golden characteristic when fried. But some potatoes are naturally low in sugar, which is why some outlets add additional sugar dextrose to give it that golden color, and the result is a beautiful, even, crisp, caramelized layer. Vegans, beware. This headline says there could be animal products in your wine. As far as I know, wine is made primarily of grapes. But could there be something else in there?
When you ferment grapes into wine, you have to add yeast. And once the yeast is there, you need to clarify the wine so that it actually is clear. So to clarify the wine, we either add protein like casein from milk or albumin from egg. In fact, the amount of protein remaining in wine is in trace quantities. But if you're ultra-concentrated vegan, then I suggest that you look for the label where you're using things like kaolin, bentonite, or charcoal to remove it.
To find out why so many of us are affected by these scary food stories, I decided to reach out to a psychologist. Vida, I have a burning question for you about scary stories regarding food. Why is it that some people don't question the validity of these scary stories more often?
Well, we tend to use our intuition. The first thing we do is when the information is provided, how does that make us feel instantly rather than sort of analyze it? And we tend to gravitate towards information that gives us an adrenaline rush. Okay, it makes us fearful. It puts us in a sort of fight or flight mode.
Do you think that these scary stories about food actually inhibit us from exploring further, looking for the truth, and debating the real issues?
I think there's just so much information overload these days. It's very hard to separate fact from fiction. There's a lot of repetition of it, and people start to believe if they hear it more than once.
And being scared all the time doesn't help us go deeper into the real issues at hand. I don't know if you've noticed, but we are facing a food shortage crisis. And the topic of how we source our food has sparked a lot of intense debates across several media outlets. Take GMOs, for example, genetically modified foods. These crops promise to be easier to grow, resistant to parasites and diseases, and even more nutritious. But some people and some stories are asking, are GMOs safe? Should we be worried?
From a safety point of view, in general, they've gone through rigorous testing, and the WHO has also approved its consumption. There's little evidence that GMO are harmful to you. But we do not us know what the long-term consequences are in terms of consuming GMOs for a long period of time. We simply cannot demonize GMO on the current basis, but at the same time we cannot accept it carte blanche, and the debate has to be done in a very unified, pragmatic and a rational way.
One story that's made the headlines recently sounds a lot like science fiction to me. Lab-grown meat. Yes, meat grown in a petri dish in a lab. So instead of raising farm animals, scientists were able to isolate animal tissue for human consumption. And this has raised all sorts of questions, from feasibility to taste to ethical dilemmas.
Let's be very clear that it's not a Frankenstein transformation of a cell into an animal. It means that the tissues of the cells of the muscle are taken and grown in a way, so therefore what you find is predominantly muscle tissue in the petri dish that's grown up. Going forward, it may be of some substitute to animal husbandry. But the current time, the cost of lab-grown meat is so exorbitant compared to animal husbandry that it cannot be a tenable comparative. Going forward, this may be one of the ways in which we can actually harvest and harness meat without having to go into animal production.
Coming up, how real is the beef used in your burger? Is there something else lurking in your patty? Are plastic water bottles